we've just got a few fun things to show you now, things that help us in our teaching when we're perhaps trying to get a child to look at something, or a grown-up student in a different way. One of the big problems I find is people who will grip the neck too much and press too hard.
They get white knuckles.
They do. So do we. There was a craze a few years ago for squishies. Do you remember squishies? They're they feel lovely. Have you got a squish of that?
Very good.
Nice, isn't it? Yeah.
So de-stress.
A little bit, yeah. So I stole this from my son, sorry. And I find this quite useful because when people are pressing too hard on the fingerboard like that, this little chap here, who I call Bob, I say to them, please could you touch Bob's eye, or touch any part of the squishy, and just make the slightest indentation so that you don't blind him. This is a bit horrible, really, isn't it? But what I don't want them doing is pressing down like that. Can you see how long that takes to recover? Yeah, we don't need to press down that much. We only need to press down like that. So it's really, really gentle. And that's how much you're pressing down on the fingerboard.
Brilliant.
Sometimes getting them to feel that just ever such slight pressure, but not like that, is a really good way for them to remember how it feels when they're then holding the instrument. And I find that sort of getting them to think about how the fingertips feel and then how it sounds and feels on the instrument is a really helpful thing to do.
You could do that with a C sponge as well, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Or anything that's sort of
anything that's a bit squishy. Yeah, a little bit give, but don't let them crush it. So if you can get something that they could crush, but you ask them to choose not to crush it, that's what you're aiming for there. So Bob, great. I've also got lovely little felty mouse made by the wonderful Sheila Holdsworth. Hi, Sheila. This is great for little kids. Obviously, you can tell it's a bit small for my hand. But, when they do this, and if people are squeezing here around the neck, you don't want them to squeeze. You want them to have a nice, relaxed hand. You can pop little felty mouse in there and then say, don't kill the mouse. Yeah. So when they're holding it, there's the mouse sitting there looking at them.
Brilliant. So if you haven't got one of those, what would I use instead? Where would I find one?
You could use anything. I used to use, when I was little, I had little finger puppets.
Oh, yeah.
Put in there, any little kind of, something that's squashable. So you're asking them to choose not to squash it. So rather than something that can't be squashed, because if it's something hard, like something made of wood, actually they can still be tense and they don't feel a difference. You could do a lump of blue tackle plasticine, because then you can actually see if you can take it away afterwards and go, look how much you squeezed it.
Yeah, good idea.
So, but I don't know, little felty mouse, you're kind of cute.
Very nice. I want one.
Lovely, yeah. If you've got a more mature student who doesn't want a felty mouse, and you want to get them not to squeeze with the left hand, this is a standard glasses cloth from this one's from Specsavers. There are other brands available. Place it there, just like that, like a little cape. And then I get them to practice going up and down like this. What it does, it takes all the friction out of it. It's very difficult to squeeze. If you squeeze with one of these on, it makes it feel really weird. Have a go. It's really strange.
So I'm just going to take off my next trick.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yes. That for me. Well, because I often say to my students, imagine that it's frictionless, like ball bearings, or it's all oiled. But actually, you have to imagine that. But here we have
there you go.
We have the real thing. Is this how you do it? Like this?
Yeah. So you don't want it over your finger. You want your fingers being able to go on the strings. That's it.
Okay.
But your thumb
like
doesn't. So your thumb can be covered. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And because that's
fantastic. Right. And then you can do the thing where you do scale on one finger, which is a peach of a trick. Scale on one finger starts on one note and keeps coming back to it. So like that, more in tune, please. Yes, lovely. Have a go.
Is that right? Am I
that's
prepared?
Fine. Yeah. As long as you can get your finger on the string. That's it. Yeah. So she's feeling nice and smooth when she's shifting, but still enough pressure to make the note happen.
Yeah, fantastic. Excellent idea.
I keep running out of these.
Cheap and cheerful, that's what we like.
Well, cheap and cheerful is the way forward, right? Because you can spend a lot of money on your instrument, which is, they're expensive enough. Oops. Oh dear, there goes Bob. Never mind. They're expensive enough as it is. And there's some wonderful bow hold moulds that you can put on your bow. It tends to be, I've found historically, that it's not always the right size for that child's particular hand. And as students get older, they don't want a great big
plastic
pink elephant on their bow. So when you get to that point, you can use corn pads, available
cheap and cheerful.
Cheap and cheerful. So these are obviously for corns on your feet, but these are unused corn pads, and all you're doing here is you're peeling one off and you stick it over here on the frog of the bow, and the little finger sits in it. So all it's doing is really reminding the student that that should be coming straight down into the hole of the corn pad.
Yeah, because some kids, they really like to hang that finger over, don't they?
Yeah.
And it's really just keep reminding them to put it back, but it just slips right off. So hopefully it trains.
So that it's not enough to stop the finger doing. If the finger doesn't want to be there, it won't be there. But it's requiring them to
reminds them.
But just reminds them. Yeah. Requiring them to do it though. That's really good.
Idea.
But tell us, Jo, who is this?
My frog. This is my frog. This is a snap bracelet. I'm sure you've all seen them at kids' parties. So it comes like this, and the kids love them. And we put them on. Has seen the snap bracelet, you know. Ta-da! That says snaps. But we don't wear it this way around. We wear it this way around. Here we go. So everybody's got a student that likes to rest the violin on that thumb there, you know, and lie it down. Well, with wearing the frog, we don't want to squash his face. And you can see I can actually feel when I'm touching here. So it's just a reminder. It's just a reminder, and the kids love it. Not to, I don't know whether you can see there. So just to stop them, if I try and lie down on that thumb, it's I'm blocked by Froggy, but I can feel it into my wrist, so that I'm just a reminder. Again, a reminder. Yeah. It's more treating the symptom than the cause, but it's a reminder. Yeah.
Yeah. So because often you'll get somebody who will be able to do a particular exercise, you want to hold it in the correct way, but once the music, they suddenly have to play the music, it all goes out the window. Yeah. So this is really helpful to have just little things, that physical reminders of what they're supposed to be thinking about.
And when I say treating the symptom rather than the cause, I think the cause possibly of this, you know, the wrist forward is perhaps shoulder rest not properly supported, or they're using this hand to hold up the violin. So we have to decide how to treat that one. But in the meantime, they can be reminded by their snap bracelet.
Lovely. Good luck. Let us know if you have anything more creative than us that you would like to share.
Cheap and cheerful.
Yes, indeed. Cheap and cheerful.